Good day and welcome back to the Pin Podcast. I'm your host, PinUp Miami, where we talk about modern topics with a vintage flair. If it is your first time listening to us, welcome. I hope you stick around and like everything that we're chatting about. If you're a returning listener, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you. I've loved all your feedback and the texts I've been getting. And for everyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at the Pin Podcast Official, or you can send me a text to 1-833-4A-PINUP. Very easy and simple. I could answer any questions you got, any topics you have that you want on the show, or if you want to be a guest on the show, I love that as well. Last week was the last week for the Pin calendar applications that I had out, and I want to say that the response was so overwhelming. If it's your first time listening, the Pinned calendar is one of my projects that every year I send out applications to any girl that wants to be turned into a pinup for a day, for a photo shoot, and they get to be the calendar girls of the year for the Pinned calendar. So check out more info at the Pinned calendar. I'll be releasing who got accepted to the calendar by this weekend. And thank you all who applied, who donated. It means so much to me. Thank you. Now, in today's episode, I have a very special guest. We have the Vice President of Creative of Loungefly, including the apparel line at Stich Shoppe, Liz DeSilva. How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's nice to have you on here. I want to say thank you for being on the Pin Podcast.
Of course.
I want to know about you. What is the Vice President of Creative?
So pretty much what the Vice President of Creative is I oversee everything creative for Loungefly. So any apparel we do, like Stich Shoppe or our Loungefly apparel that's launching in about a month, all of our enamel pins, our backpacks. So I'm working with our licensed partners like Disney, Marvel, Warner Brothers, whoever that is. I'm working with our retail partners, and I'm working with my amazing creative team full of artists that make all of our products. And I'm just making sure that we're offering everybody unique items, that, Box Lunch gets something special, our main line gets something special, and more than anything, making sure that we're just staying on top of innovation, trends, just fresh new designs for our fans.
And how did you start off with the company? Did you start off by a project?
So I actually, I joined Funko, who owns Loungefly, about a little over 2 years ago. And joined because I had kind of a vision to start this apparel line, and the CEO of Funko, Brian, is awesome. He is just so product focused, so innovation focused, and myself and my partner Derek, who's the VP of Business Development at Loungefly, we flew up to Funko and pitched an idea, and the idea so perfectly fit in with Loungefly that they offered us the chance to kind of just take over the vision of Loungefly and move Loungefly forward. Obviously, Loungefly has been doing amazing designs for a long time, so I just kind of stepped in, and I did show designs. So I had a whole presentation of kind of this concept that ended up being Stich Shoppe, and it included some things that we haven't got to yet that I hope to get to someday. But yeah, so that's kind of how I did. I had this project in my head for a long time, and Funko was super open to it and supportive. So that's how I ended up head of creative at Loungefly.
Oh, see, I found out about Loungefly because since I'm in Florida, Disney has always been a part of my life, and I see all the girls that collect all the backpacks.
Yeah.
And they're so cute, and handbags. I like that Mickey Mouse one.
I've actually been a Loungefly fan for a long time. I have it's a tote bag with tattoo style swallows and an anchor that I've had since probably the early 2000s. So I've always had a small Loungefly collection. and just love their details and everything about them as a brand. So I was really excited to join the team, and they have an amazing, amazing team of people from sales to design to creative. I mean, just really awesome people that care a lot about the brand, which is great to be a part of a team like that.
It's always nice when you're able to create and be surrounded by other people that want to create fun things. I feel like that some jobs are slowly shifting, but some jobs are just stuck in the old ways. And I love
I think what makes Loungefly great is we have a lot of real fans. Like even like the sales team and the PD team and the art team, everyone are fans of at least some of the, properties that we work on. So whether they're like really into Pokemon or they grew up with Star Wars and that's like really nostalgic for them, whatever it is, everybody gets really excited about something, which is cool.
What was the first collection that Stich Shoppe came out with?
The very first Stich Shoppe collection, I'm wearing a piece of it. So we launched with Disney. We launched in the middle of like kind of the worst part of the pandemic early on. We were actually supposed to launch sooner, and with COVID, we delayed, and we ended up launching in June of 2020, and we launched with a large collection that included kind of vintage takes on Minnie and Mickey, 3 Disney princess pieces, and 3 Toy Story, I'm sorry, it's been a long week, 3 Pixar Up pieces.
Oh, I've seen those. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous. And
thank you so much.
So what's the process when you come up with an idea? Like, give us a synopsis. I'm sure there's more details in between. But if you get an idea, you have a team to design.
Yeah. So my partner Derek and I, we typically start by just looking at like the whole quarter. So if you're looking at first quarter, like January, February, March, we look at like what's happening at that time. Are there anniversaries? What licenses are we going to cover? So once we have the framework, I start working with my team. So for Stich Shoppe, I have an amazing senior designer named Desiree, and we kind of decide on a main direction, and then she goes off and starts getting, crazy with material ideas, and we both pull kind of art directions, and then she starts pulling silhouette ideas. And once we narrow a direction, then we get into as far as like trims, embroideries, all that type of. So we have these big boards, kind of like this one right here behind me that just has bag collections, but we fill up these big concept boards with whatever we're kind of liking, and then we narrow it from there, kind of just like big mood boards.
I love it. It sounds like a movie. You're creating a storyboard and all the ideas all together, and then you tell the story at the end with these beautiful graphics all together in a collection.
Yep, pretty much.
What is your favorite part about working? I know you said the creative team, but is there like one little thing that you like the most?
So I think what is great about working at Loungefly is that our partners like Disney and Warner Brothers and Sanrio, they give Loungefly a lot of leeway to explore these super creative and unique ideas. So I think the best part for me is being able to think outside the box and bring ideas to say Disney that haven't been out there before, and they're really open to it, right? They give us a lot of leeway. And I think my second favorite part is really reading the fan feedback on social media. Especially during this year, I got to read a lot of people that like, they loved having something to look forward to in the mail. We've all gone like months and months and months of staying at home. So if you have a dress coming or you have a bag coming, and that's, something that you can look forward to, whether you're just going to plan an outfit to wear at home or whatever, it's still fun. It's still something to look forward to at a time when you're not going anywhere. So I love to see that we made somewhat of a difference to people during this, really difficult time. So that's been really great.
Oh, I love the nostalgia of all the collections that you have. Makes everyone just giddy about them and think about great memories. Because for example, the people you're talking about, they can't, like if they're in Florida or they go to the parks a lot, that gives them like that little thing they're missing. You had a Coca-Cola collection, and yep. Everyone loves Coca. Well, not everyone, but for the most part, they love the Coca-Cola aesthetic, and it's that nostalgia that people just want to hold on to. And I think that's what makes like stitch shops really stand out, and the colors, because I'm a sucker for color.
I can tell. I love your color story today.
Thank you.
Yes, we definitely keep it colorful. Aside from maybe around like Halloween timing, we get a little bit darker, but we do have some pretty bright palettes and more coming. So yes, I am a huge fan of color. I always say my favorite color is rainbow because I could never pick one. But yes, we definitely like to play with fun color palettes, and that will never change about Stitch Shoppe. So
good. I love that. And I sew a lot of my own pieces. I don't really sew. Well, I've done some commission pieces, and one thing that I appreciate, you know, looking on your Instagram on Stitch Shoppe and Loungefly, is that you show a variety of all different types of women and men. So it's not like a guessing game, because I've been to some websites that like you don't get to try them on in person.
right.
And you're like guessing like, okay, does that look good on my body shape? You know, because I'm a plus size woman. Or for my boyfriend, he's skinnier, but you know, so it's like, I want to see what it looks like, and your page really shows a lot. So your brand, like I know you said earlier, when your team gets together and creates, you know, you look at the silhouette. What importance is that? Because I know every body is different.
Oh, it's so important. It's probably one of the most important things. And when we started designing this line, that was always in the forefront. So it was always like, is this sleeve going to be comfortable? When we were doing fittings, we fit on, when we started the line originally, we fit on a size large and a size 2X. And that's how we did our fittings. And it was really important that like every sleeve was not going to pull. So when we did fittings, I was like, pretend like you're driving. I want to make sure it's not pulling on your arm, and, you know, doing normal everyday things, because nicer quality, you know, vintage inspired apparel can still be super comfortable, and it needs to be comfortable for any size. So that was a big part of like the ramp up to our launch, was many fittings. And not just that, is anyone that's followed our journey from the beginning knows that after our first collection launched, we listened to all the feedback, all of it, and we adjusted some lengths. We added some elastic into some of the skirts to make the fit a little bit easier. So we definitely listened to what everybody said. We've had a lot of people requesting a short sleeve dress because they wanted a sleeve. We had this one, but later we did more sleeveless dresses. And so we've developed two or three new short sleeve styles that'll be coming out this year, based on just listening to the fan reaction. Because Loungefly and Stitch Shoppe, if anything, like, we're here to make things that people love. So it's super important to me to hear all that. And in the beginning, we didn't have like a social media manager during COVID, so I actually did it, which was great. Even though it was a lot of work, it was great because I got to talk to a lot of fans of Stitch Shoppe and hear their feedback. And I used to even like try on dresses before a launch and show people like, hey, my waist is a 36 right now, and this is how this size fits on me. And my partner would be like, what are you doing? Why are you sending them pictures of yourself? But it's important, right? And
yeah.
The tough part about COVID was that we didn't have access to a ton of people to show the garments on. Even now, when we do our photo shoots, we can only shoot one person at a time. We don't do hair and makeup. We have a lot of restrictions just to keep people safe. So in the future, our goal is to have lives with multiple shorter models, taller models, all different body types, so that people can see before a launch, oh, okay, that person has a body similar to mine. Cool, because we do try to seed to as many, a really wide variety of influencers and models. So I'm glad you see that, so that people can relate to one of them and see how it would fit them. But we'd like to take it further as soon as it's a little bit safer to do that.
Oh, I like that, because even on video is even better, because then you see the way it flows. Because I know for me, when I see like a pencil skirt online, let's say, and it says stretchy, and then when you look at the model, yeah, they Photoshop it really nice. But you know, we're all well, at least women that are bigger, we all have curves in places we don't really want, so we don't want to make accentuate these curves. So it's nice on video too, because you get to see how the fabric flows, it fits, it's smooth. I like that.
Yeah. Some of our some of our influencers or collaborators that we used were really great this last year. And they would do stories and lives and go on and really show people, you know, I typically wear this size and this is how this fits and I could have sized down or whatever. And they gave like a lot of great information. So, I mean, we were super grateful for all of them because they gave us all that extra info that we couldn't do in-house or in a studio to share with everyone. So that was super helpful.
Oh, I like it. It's amazing how social media, I know the pandemic has really turned everyone's life upside down, but it really has shown us new ways of doing things. And you saw the positive, you know, you were involved in the beginning of your social media. And it's amazing that you took initiative and did, you know, the social media and really got to know like the people on there and help them out. And your partner just telling you why he's taking video.
Yeah, we finally have, like, we have an amazing social director now that joined us just before the beginning of this year. So it's new for us. But I still, when we launch products, go on and read every single comment. I have a lot of people that, you know, will reach out to me on my personal Instagram and ask questions about the product. And they'll always be like, I don't want to bother you. I know you're busy. And I'm like, no, bother me. Like, I want to know what you guys think. I want to hear feedback, even if it's good, if it's bad. Our products only get better from all of the feedback that we get. So, yeah, I love that people still reach out to me, even though I'm not running the social anymore, and get that info. And then I just take it upon myself and I scroll and I read all the comments, and it's the best information. So for me, social media is great. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then you get to, what's the word I'm looking for? You just get a one-on-one relationship, and you take that, just like with my events. Like, I always have a survey at the end if somebody enters one of my contests, just to know how I can make it better, or with the person that hired me so I can improve for my next event. And It just helps you grow and just be stronger at what your craft is, and be able to, you know, the next collection, you'll be like, ooh, a lot of people, like you said, with your short sleeves, you know, we need to get the sleeves or stretch. And little details like the driving thing, you don't think about that, but everyone drives.
Yes. Well, I've had dresses. I think when we were starting this, I just took everything that always drove me crazy about dresses that I bought over the years, and I tried to fix them. I tried to think about, you know, certain sleeves that always cut in or just didn't feel flattering, you know, certain types of waistbands, zippers breaking constantly on me. That was one of my biggest things, is I refused to make a line with cheap zippers because I had so many styles. I had to, if I had time, sew a new zipper in myself, or take, to have a new
caught.
Yes, and I was like, I don't want that. So we have like these gorgeous beefy zippers that you can zip up yourself, and they shouldn't snag on you. So yeah, I just took a lot of my history of wearing, you know, vintage inspired clothes and all the things that kind of drove me crazy. Like this dress, for example, has buttons closer together over the bust so that you don't get that pull. You know, all those type of things that you just wish when you got the dress and you really love it, but you're like, oh, I wish it had this. We tried to take as many of those things into account. And even when we thought we took so many in, we've gotten so much feedback from people that have made things that much better. So I think, you know, Stich Shoppe in 2022, I mean, will probably be, you know,
another level.
Yeah, a whole other level of, I mean, we just want to make things more comfortable. I want you to be able to go to Disneyland for the day, wear it on rides, eat all the snacks, and still be comfortable.
That's the important part, especially if you're going to the parks. You know, you want to be cute for the Instagram, but yes, then you want to be able to.
I can't help you with your heels, but I can definitely try and get you a comfortable dress.
I think it's funny when I go to Dapper Day in Florida, people take their heels and put them in a bag. It'll probably be in a Loungefly bag.
Perfect.
And then they just take the photo and put it back on.
They're smart, though, because I have limped out of a Dapper Day before. I have almost had to be carried, so they are smarter than me.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I always wear flats or like some cute flats, but when I saw that, so a couple of girls just pop out heels from their bag, I was like, wow.
That's brilliant. I can't wait until the parks open here and I can see. I've gone to Downtown Disney a couple times and I've seen people in Stich Shoppe. I actually took a day off of work last week and went to downtown Disney because I'm not a big fan of being around a lot of people during COVID. Just want to be safe. And so I took a day off of work to go when it was less crowded. And I was sitting down on Buena Vista Street, and a girl was walking by, and she was head to toe in Stich Shoppe with her Ewok outfit, and then she had a Loungefly Endor backpack. And I just, like, my friend was talking to me, and I was just like, I jumped up, ran into the street, had to take a picture of her. She just looked amazing, and I can't wait to see more people, like, getting a chance to wear their dresses when the world is a little bit more open.
Oh my God, that must feel so amazing seeing somebody with your, like, everything that you've worked for so long all together, especially when she, like, coordinated it all cute.
Yes, she was head to toe. It's like exactly what I envisioned when we're making the apparel, and to see people just walking around in real life is phenomenal.
Aww. So talking about people, I have questions that I got sent in on Instagram.
Sure.
And via text. The first one is, what's your most popular design?
I think from what I know from looking at sales, I think from the beginning, our most popular design was the original yellow Sandy skirt, which had the big Minnie Mouse balloon on the front.
Oh, the poodle kind of stuff.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that was our best seller. And that style in general, the Sandy skirt, which is like a little bit longer length skirt that we've now added elastic to the back so it's even more comfortable. That skirt's so versatile, and it's super comfortable, and it's a great canvas for beautiful art. We released one today with the Neverland Peter Pan mermaids, and it's a beautiful canvas for either an all over print or a scene. So I'm pretty sure it was that yellow polka dot Minnie Mouse skirt from the very first collection has just been everybody's favorite. So I will tell you that it's not a mini skirt, but we have something inspired by that coming later this year.
Ooh. And it's yellow. No, just kidding. What, do you have any like favorite designs, or does your favorite change every time a new one comes out?
You know what? It does change kind of depending on the time of year. This is one of my favorite dresses. It's just this like Desi diner dress. It's super comfortable. So I wear this a lot, but I think in terms of designs, I absolutely loved our Princess Books collection that we did, which it had no princess faces. It was just all of their storybooks and like secondary items from their story. And then we had this amazing Stich Shoppe bag that was shaped like 5 books on a shelf. And the innovation in that line and the things that our team did just came together so beautifully, and it was very unique. And so I think that one's probably my favorite from a design standpoint.
Well, because the designs are not only overall good, when you really look at it, it's very detailed.
Yes, we are all about the details. Yeah, like this
collection. A story and a story.
This collection, for example, when we did the trims, we made them like a little more oversized. So instead of doing like a small scallop trim, we wanted to make it feel like a little more cartoony. So it's a little bigger and more oversized, like if it was actually like Minnie Mouse's dress. And that's the type of stuff I love.
I love it. What is the most exciting part about working with Stich Shoppe?
To be honest, probably just now being able to see people and the happiness it brings them. Like, I love waking up in the morning and saying, like, I'm going to pull together a look, even when we're not going anywhere during COVID. I love just putting myself in a good mood with a great outfit. And I love seeing people on social media excited about their Stich Shoppe. I love seeing people of all different sizes, all ethnicities wearing it. It's absolutely beautiful. Definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, and then taking selfies with them, like, hey.
I know. I hope I get to I feel like I've become, social media friends with so many people I've never met. I hope to start bumping into people in the parks in the next couple of years and be able to meet people in person, because there's been so many lovely people that have supported Stich Shoppe from the beginning that were complete strangers to me that are just really, really sweet people. So.
Ooh, and I hope to make it out to California to check out Disneyland. I've never been.
Yes, well, we go to Florida quite a bit. The Loungefly team, when it's safe, we were going, 2-3 times a year to meet with our Disney Parks team out there. So we love coming to Florida and seeing what's new at the parks over there.
Where can somebody in Florida buy Stitch? Is it in the Disney Springs or?
So right now, Stich Shoppe is unique to loungefly.com, and also if you're in LA, you can get it at the Funko Hollywood store, where they have the actual garments there. You can try them on. But for everyone else outside of LA, loungefly.com is where we launch all the collections right now. And that may change in the future. We're working on some things, but for right now, that's where you can find it.
Let's see. How do you choose the next collection?
So just like Loungefly, we look at a lot of different things. We look at, anniversaries that are happening. We look at, seasons and holidays and all different things. So we always want to make sure, say if it's Disney, for example, we want to make sure that we're giving enough love to our Disney Classic friends, our Princess friends, our Pixar friends. So 1 is about balance. 2 is about just what's going on, what's trending, what are people loving. Last year there were big anniversaries for Fantasia and Toy Story. So we definitely had to cover those. So I can give you like a little sneak peek of what's to come. Winnie the Pooh, for example, has an anniversary this year. So you'll see something Winnie the Pooh from us, as well as Dumbo.
I love Dumbo.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it's really like what's going on in the world, what makes sense that year. And also sometimes it's just fan favorites from, if we had a bag from Loungefly that sold really well, and we get a lot of feedback from fans like, hey, I love this Tiana bag. Wish there was more Tiana product. And that's something we would take into consideration if we hear it enough. So definitely we listen on social.
I need a matching dress for my bag.
So yeah, actually like a lot of times people will write like, I love this collection. I wish there was a Stitch Shoppe dress to go with it or something like that. And again, I read everything that I possibly can. So some of it does really come from fan feedback.
What is your favorite fandom?
So anyone that knows me or has been to my house or my office that I've created here knows that I am a hardcore Disney fan. I have a pink guest room that is all Disney themed. So if you ever stay at my house, you can choose. There's a Star Wars and Harry Potter themed guest room, and then there's a Disney themed guest room. And I am a massive Minnie Mouse fan. I just feel like she's such an iconic fashionista, and she just has a look that has stayed classic throughout time. I grew up completely obsessed with Snow White and Cinderella. But nowadays, some of the new princesses have snuck into my heart. So I have a pretty large collection of vintage Disney products. So yes, I am definitely I'm a Disney girl. So I also love a lot of other things, but if the biggest is by far Disney.
Oh, nice. I love Mickey. Minnie Mouse would make a great panel. Like, who's the best fashionista, Minnie or Miss Piggy? I feel like that would be like a great debate there.
Yep. I've been trying to like drop hints to Disney and our partners at Disney for a long time that, I could retire and be happy if they would let me design a Stitch Shoppe dress for Minnie one day. That would just be like the coolest thing that I could ever imagine to do.
That would be amazing. You dress like Minnie, and then you have Minnie wearing the dress at the park. That would be amazing. I believe that will happen for you, Liz.
I hope so. Let's all put it out there.
What is your favorite Loungefly bag?
Oh, that's hard. I feel like somebody asked me this the other day on social too. So we did a Cinderella collection that was a pink mini backpack cosplay of her pink dress. And the details that the team put into it were just beautiful. And then there was a crossbody, a blue quilted crossbody that I also loved. But that was my favorite until we did the Princess Books collection. And that bag is just perfection. So I think I would have to say that the Princess Books collection is by far my favorite bag.
Yeah, because I've never seen anything like it. Literally a little cute bookshelf on the go.
Yep, I love it. I carry it quite often. It's definitely just one of my favorites because it's so unique.
What inspires the silhouette in your designs?
So
I'm guessing, are you do you look into vintage repro or?
Yeah, 100%. So we look at vintage styles. Myself and Desiree, our senior designer, we definitely look at actual vintage silhouettes. And then it comes down to like making versions that are comfortable and versatile. So I always think like if you're going to have a dress in your closet that you spend around $100 for, you want to be able to style it different ways. You want to be able to wear it to different events. So it's really important to me to make something that I feel like, one, can be worn different ways. So we have like our tank Olivia dress that you can wear. You can like layer a cardigan over it. You can layer a blouse under it. You can wear it many different ways. And
you also posted on your socials because I saw a girl that you guys posted had like a long sleeve underneath one of your dresses. Yeah, I would never thought to do that.
Yes, exactly. So we like things to be versatile so that all our fans have an opportunity to wear them. And then I also wanted to make sure that the pieces, you know, they could be dressed up or down. So like you could throw on a pair of heels with them and wear them out on a date, or you could throw on a denim jacket and a pair of Converse and wear them to the park, and they work either way. So just trying to make them super versatile, make them so that you can pair them with, you know, different belts, different accessories. So kind of classic pieces that, you know, whatever you're a fan of can live in your closet for a long time. And more than anything, quality fabrics, that, you know, that are easy to wear, quality materials and trims, that aren't going to give out on you.
Have you found it difficult in the pandemic to source out any materials?
So sourcing, not too difficult, but just in general, the pandemic has just caused a lot of delays for everyone. So whether, you know, people getting COVID or, you know, just shipping delays because of COVID. So many things went wrong this year because of COVID. But again, we have amazing fans and people were extremely patient at times. You know, we couldn't launch things until maybe a month late, sometimes more. And people were amazing. People were understanding. I mean, there was a point at which I'm sure everybody remembers, like nothing was shipping on time. Like if you placed an order, it was sometimes taking like 3-4 weeks for UPS or the post office to get it to you. And that's frustrating, especially when, you know, people are out of work or they're choosing to spend their hard-earned money on your products, and to see them, you know, frustrated and waiting for stuff, but not to have any control over that. So the pandemic was challenging. Our team was, a large chunk of our team was furloughed for a significant amount of time. So I think my creative team was down to 5 people at one point, which is not a lot for all the amazing stuff we came out with. So yeah, it was definitely a challenging time. But I think we're very lucky. I think Loungefly is extremely grateful, and all of the team for where we're at, and the fans that continue to support us through 2020 is amazing.
Oh. I work with manufacturing plants, and it's been such a delay on everything, even with the snowstorm that just happened.
There's always something new. There's always a new reason. Everything's delayed.
Yeah, just add on, and people are now becoming understanding because everyone's going through it. So that's like, I guess, the plus size too.
Yeah.
Is your closet full of all your designs?
Yes. So my closet is ridiculous. I call it Liz Land, and I actually bought a house. I bought this house specifically because it had this really weird extra bedroom upstairs. It's like really long and skinny, and I don't know what anybody would use it for, but I turned it into my closet, and it's amazing. And everything is it's pink, and everything is in rainbow order. So yes, I do have it full of Stich Shoppe. I also, prior to joining Loungefly, used to make a lot of my own clothes. So I have a lot of things I made in the past and just, favorite dresses that I'll never let go of. So I have a rainbow of apparel up there and shoes. I have a lot of shoes.
I think I've seen you post on your Instagram in the pink room, your outfits. I think we're talking about.
Yeah, so the pink room, that's like where my office is. So I have two pink rooms, I guess. I have my guest room, which is my office now due to COVID. And then my closet is upstairs, and it's also pink. So it's yes, I'm pretty much always in a pink area.
So the last question I have is, what designer inspires you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know that I've ever had like one fashion designer that I really gravitated towards. I think probably more artists, to be honest, because I look at silhouettes and things like that, but especially Stich Shoppe is very, very driven by the art that's on the dresses and the colors. So like a lot of Disney fans, I've always been a huge Mary Blair fan. An artist that maybe some people know, Matisse. He did these amazing beautiful paper cutouts. I'm Polish, and there is a type of paper, a very colorful paper cut artwork in Poland that I love. So I think I've always been a little bit more inspired by prints and art than actual like fashion designers.
Oh, I could see that. And then especially, so then Stitch Fly, it's perfect because then it just blends. I'm curious, how did you come up with the name Stich Shoppe?
So one, coming up with a name for a brand is really hard now because everything's taken. So I wish everybody that's starting new brands a lot of luck, because I think you have to just make up words because it's really hard. We had a lot of really cute names that were already taken, and if they're taken in a country that you plan to ship to one day, you don't want to like go into that area. So it was really important that we kind of focused on the quality, and I wanted people to know that this isn't like fast fashion. You're not buying like a blank t-shirt that you can buy and just screen print. It's actual cut and sew fashion. So we wanted to have some element of that cut and sew piece. So, and then shop, SHOPPE, just made me feel like a vintage, like ice cream shop or candy shop. So it kind of just combined the aesthetic of Stitch Shoppe and then that cut and sew component.
Oh, nice. I was just curious. I just thought about it. I was like, I wonder how she got the name.
That was probably like the 8th name we came up with. And it was the first one to get approved by legal. So it was really exciting.
There you go. It only took 8 tries.
Yep.
Do you have any questions or anything you'd like to say, add on?
For anybody watching that has been following our brand, just thank you so much from myself and the whole team. It is not an ideal time to launch a new brand, and we always envisioned, launching at a time when people could wear it to Dapper Day and wear it out into the world. So the people that have supported it and just worn it at home, we love you. And, it looks like hopefully we'll all be getting back to some type of normal here soon. And to all the new people that are just discovering Stitch Shoppe, we're always on social. We're always here to answer questions. You can hit up my personal Instagram and ask me questions. I don't mind. You're not bothering me. More than anything, just thank you to everyone that has supported Stitch Shoppe, participated with the brand either on social media or by purchasing, and anyone that is willing to check it out and see what we have coming this year.
All right. Thank you, Liz, so much for being on my show.
Of course. Thank you.
I'm going to put all her connections down in the description. You can follow her on Instagram. It's Liz DeSilva Designs. You can follow Loungefly and Stitch Shoppe by Loungefly on Instagram. Everything will be in the description. Yes. Next week, I have Deanna Kahn from Blondie Beauty Salon in Fort Lauderdale. She's all about bright hair color, which that's what I'm all about. I'm excited to talk to her and how the pandemic has affected her salon. So make sure to come next week to listen in. And if you want to help me, a free way to help me out is by signing up at the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and hit that like button and notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, have a beautiful day.